Hello guys and welcome back to a new video. I've been away for a while since 2017. I know I had many comments about this. So basically it's been 3 years ago since we did the previous tutorial. Luckily not that much things have changed, so this is for the better. And I would like to walk you guys through to the second part. I'm gonna try to do a tutorial every week or every 2 weeks, but I'm gonna make them a little bit shorter so that you guys can actually grasp every time a certain concept, and then we're gonna move like this. So what I would like you guys to know as well is that I set up a GitHub repository. This GitHub repository can be accessed. I will put the link in the description below. And every tutorial we do, I will upload a new repo with the new changes. The goal is that you guys can just clone it, play with it, play around with what we added, what we deleted, etc., etc. Probably you guys are wondering, what are we going to do with this application? So the goal is that you can log in, that you can register, that you can add some blog posts, and that you maybe can create your own admin section where you can edit this information. So basically kind of like a blog website. So first of all, today I want to introduce you guys to a very nice enhancement, which is called NodeModel. And I also would like you guys to learn how we can organize routes and how we can organize it in such a way that it's very efficient when you have many routes in your application, that it's still possible to, let's say, to find the structure. And a very structural approach will allow your application to scale much better. And also, if you're working in a team, it's easier that you guys can spread the load over multiple structured files. So last time I recreated my own tutorial because I unfortunately didn't find the files back. They were on my work computer from the past, so here you go. This is in the new application. So first I will run you guys through very quickly what we did last time. So last time basically we created a very simple Node.js application. I will go here. Here we go. I see that I already did I use the right one? Okay, I already added something for the tutorial later. Okay, so last time we had a very simple Node.js application. Here you see it. This application basically involved everything we needed, right? So we showed very basic how Node works, and I realized that I would known actually that you guys were hungry for more. So I will try to still this hunger, and I will go through with you guys what we can do with Node.js, etc., etc. So basically, the first thing I would like to tell you guys is that there's a nice plugin which is called NodeModel. And NodeModel allows me that I don't always need to reboot my server. So let me show you how you can install NodeModel. So I will first move to the NodeModel website. Here we go. This is the NodeModel website. And basically, NodeModel is a utility that will monitor for any changes in your source code and automatically restart your server. And you could wonder, why do I want to use frickin' NodeModel in this case? Well, this is the exact reason. Because when you're using NodeModel, you just modify some small things on your website, and NodeModel is going to restart and everything is going to be fine. So let's put this to the test, all right? So I'm just going to open the app here. I'm going to say, all right, you guys, I want to add a new homepage, right? So I take a new li element, I copy paste it. Like I said before, if you want to follow from this point of the application, you can just clone the GitHub repository and work like this. So basically we have a home page, and this will refer to home. Here we go. So very simple, right? So basically I do npm start, and I want to check if it was added to my application already. So I check it here. Nice, it was added. So we have the home button here, and it routes to nothing. Okay, So I would love to add a route now, which I can link a view which in turn will show me the home page. So let's do this. So we go back to our application here. We say add.js, and then we're gonna say, all right, we have our routes here. So we're gonna navigate to our routes, and we're gonna add a new route. So router.get /home function res. Here we go. And then we immediately say res.render, and we can call it home, right? And then res.render, which means we render the view. We're gonna have to add a new view in our application. So we're gonna do this here, home.ajs. Here we go. And home is gonna be very similar to index, so you can just copy index and paste it in the home page. Okay? So we can say welcome to the home page, all right? So this is all compiled stuff. This is new stuff, basically. Normally, if I want to render this, I'm gonna have to restart my server. So we're gonna click home now. Fuck. It doesn't work. Which is irritating, because then I have to go back to my development environment here. I have to get out of my server and restart the server. And then when I restarted the server, and I go to home page, aha, it works, nice. But imagine when you're in your development cycle and you guys are gonna have this, you're gonna be working ongoing on projects, and you're gonna have to restart this all the time. This is shit. So for this, we're gonna use NodeModel. And NodeModel will allow you to very easily set up your server and get going with it. So in order to use NodeModel, I will first of all show you, you guys can leave this how it is. You don't need to go ahead and also delete it, but I'm gonna delete the home again, this router. So I'm basically gonna comment it, and then I'm gonna say, all right, this home page is commented now, and we're also gonna well, this can actually exist, you know what I mean? So basically, when I'm gonna restart the server now, you're gonna see that home page, the route will not exist. So I'm gonna go here. Does the route exist? No, it doesn't exist anymore. I cannot find it. So basically with NodeModel, I'm not gonna have to restart my server when I add the route, right? So I'm gonna say, okay, guys, and we're gonna install NodeModel. So to install NodeModel, very simple line, npm install -g NodeModel. So we're gonna type this very quick, install -g NodeModel. And this is gonna install NodeModel. I think with me it was already installed, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it with you guys. The -g means that you're installing it globally. So this will allow you guys to use NodeModel. And then what you want to do is you want to say NodeModel app. So you say NodeModel. So you're calling the global NodeModel, and you're saying app. And this is going to start watching for changes in your application. And the moment that your application changes, something in your source files is changing, it's going to restart the server. And this is amazing. So let's say, for instance, now I'm busy here. My application is running here with NodeModel, great. And I want to add the home route. You see it's still not available. Damn it, that's irritating. So I'm going back to my Node.js application, and I'm saying, all right, in my routes, I want to uncomment this part basically. So we're gonna get rid of the comments here, and we're gonna say save. You see the server has restarted and it rebooted everything. So basically now, when I click home, I'm on the home page. I didn't have to type this npm start all the time. So basically that's for NodeModel. I hope this was very clear for you guys, and I hope you will install NodeModel as well, because it is amazing to work through this stuff. What is very important is when you use NodeModel, to always try to make it an ongoing process, to use it when you're developing, right? So basically you can add whatever you want, you hit save, and it's going to be refreshed. The second thing for today I would like to show you guys is how to organize routes. So basically, when you will have an application, there will be many more routes. It's not just going to be home, it's also going to be login, it's going to be register, it's going to be all this type of stuff. So basically, how we can best organize routes is by allowing to to split up your routes and files, and like this you can better organize the route. So as I said, the second thing I would like to do before we get started on the next part is to organize our application better. So we're gonna build on top of this application. We'll be able to add blog posts, we'll be able to log in, to register as a user. And in order to be able to do this, we're gonna have to organize our application much better. So I'm gonna think with you guys here what we can do the best. First of all, we have all these views here. Imagine our application here is gonna have even more. Remember, like we're gonna have not just home and about and login, but we're also gonna have maybe register and so on and so on. We're gonna have a blog overview page. So everything will be there, and it's gonna take a lot of files. It's gonna take a lot of things, and it's important that we can organize the amount of files that will be there, right? So first I would suggest that if we want to be sure that we have a good solution for this, we need to think a little bit. So I would suggest first to divide everything up in nice folders. So the first thing we're gonna handle here is the views. So you can add a new folder, and there we're gonna put all the partials in. So we're gonna say partial. This is a folder with all the partials in, and in this folder I will move two files. This one, move, and this one, move. So as you can see, I moved two files to the partial folder now, which means that views now has two files, one folder with two files for all the partials. As we said in the previous episode, a partial is basically made. So if you're gonna reuse this page on multiple pages, let's say a header, a footer, you're gonna make a partial file. So basically this means that here we're gonna have to add a new path. So we're gonna have to say this slash partial, and here the same deal. We're gonna have to say slash partial here. So slash partial slash underscore header. This should be fine. So we go to terminal here. I will click here. Okay, I lost my terminal for a little bit. Yeah, and here we're back. So we're going to the terminal and we're typing NodeModel app. Okay, and we're back. So now we changed the home page. We changed the things to partials, and I'm getting a problem here. It says, oh shit, this doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Because we didn't change it everywhere. There's also an index page, and here we have to change partial as well. So go ahead and go do this in your application if you're following along. And then normally, so here you also will see the prints of the error messages. So if you have an error message, you can also check in your terminal. We're gonna rerun the shit, and here we are, and it works. So we divided this up in partials. Let's say we add in more footer content, things that are gonna reappear often. We put it in the partial files, because partial files are part of this bigger picture, and it's easy to store them there. So this is good practice. The next part we want to do is we want to start dividing up our views into folders as well, because it seems much more smart that, let's say, everything that has to do with the blog posts, you're going to put this in a different folder than everything that has to do with account and information about the user account and settings and profile pictures, etc. So the first thing we're going to make is we're going to make a second folder, which is we're going to call the home folder. And this is going to contain all our home files. Home folder. So basically this can contain index, we'll move the index, and this can also contain home.js. Why do we do this? Well, this gives me a nice overview of how everything looks. And it allows me very easily to work in a certain fashion with my routes, right? Very important to know now is we're gonna have an error. I guess you guys can already guess what the problem is gonna be. So basically we reorganized our routes, and that's what our views, I'm sorry. And that's why I wanted to do this very early, because I knew that otherwise we would have to do it a lot of times. So basically our path here is not correct anymore. So if you're gonna go to the browser, you're gonna click fuck. failed to look up view index in the views directory. Logical, why? Because we need to add our 2 dots here that it basically moves up, and we're gonna have to do this twice. So imagine if we're gonna have a couple of files already and we're gonna have to do this a million times. This wouldn't be fun, right? So we're gonna run it again. We're gonna check whether it works already. Let's see, take a look. Right, so basically now that it doesn't, yeah, this is one of the problems, of course. The partials are fixed, but there's gonna be another problem. And the problem is that in our routes that we have right here, right now we say just render index, and index is in the views. But this is gonna change now. This is gonna change to render /home and /index and /home/home. And when we save, this is fixed, as you can see. I'm sorry, this is fixed. So when you also go to /home, it's fixed. So basically, given the amount of differences this has, it changes. What I just did is I removed the index here. So basically, index is gonna get resolved automatically. You do not have to type index here. You can just leave it. I'm doing it anyways to make it logical for you guys, but you can leave it like this and it's gonna automatically resolve to the index file. See? So home, okay. So this seems to work now. So the first part that I wanted to do for you guys is to make sure that the views are organized. And they are. Luckily, our views are organized. The second part that we're gonna have to do here is we're gonna have to organize not just the views, but we're also gonna have to organize the routes. Because, as I said before, we're gonna have many routes, and all these routes are gonna be part of the application. And if you're gonna work together with people in team, or you're gonna work on something alone, you wanna have your application to be very structured. And this is the way you should do it. So basically, let's take a look. First of all, I'm gonna add a new folder, and I'm gonna call it routes. Here we go. And the routes folder will have 2 subfolders. Why 2? Because I want to have both an API for my application as I want a web front end. So I'm going to make 2 of them. So basically the first folder will be an API folder. So let's say you want to make a mobile app, or you want to make another front end. Let's say you're making an Angular front end for the application or whatever. You can use this API part to basically transmit your information through JSON. We're gonna go through this later on in the course. This is gonna be a very extensive course. We're very ambitious to show you everything. But for now, let's just put their API and we're gonna add a small index there. And then we're gonna check how it works. And the next one is gonna be a web folder. Okay, so we have API and we have web. Both of them are gonna have an index page. An index file, I'm sorry. So we're gonna add index.js here to the web, and we're also gonna add a index.js to the API. Okay, so this is already a lot, right? To cover, I don't wanna go too fast. So we have routes, we have 2 types of routes, API routes and web routes. The next thing we wanna do is the routes that we're having here, they were gonna have to be moved, right? We cannot keep them here because imagine, just imagine that I have a million routes like this and the file like this, kabam, 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 etc., etc. A million like this, it's insane. You cannot, this is not organized, right? So if we want to make it nice and organized, we have to come up with a better solution, which is our folders. So the first thing I would like to do in this case is I would like to make sure that our routes are first known to the application. How do we do this right now? So right now we're gonna say, okay, app.use routes, and here we say require routes. So this is basically us letting the application know, like, okay, we require those routes, and we're gonna use them like this. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna make 2 paths. So this basically we don't need anymore. You can comment it, so maybe you remember it. The app crashed, waiting for file changes before starting. So the app crashed entirely. We changed the routes and there are no possibilities left anymore to make the app even run, as you can see. This is such a backbone of an application, of course. And the next thing we want to do, instead of app.useRoutes here, we're gonna make two paths. So the first path will be this slash path. So basically the route when you surf to your website, and we're gonna be require./routes. So this is the folder /web. The second one we want to do is the same. We copy this one. We say API./routes/API. So basically, what does this mean? When I'm gonna surf to this slash here, I'm gonna go to the home page, basically. Of course, this is not gonna work. We see that our application still says it crashed. So why is this not gonna work? Because we still have to figure out our routes here. And in order to do this, we have to be very specific in how we're gonna describe those routes. So basically, when I wanna describe one of those routes, I'm gonna go to this index file and I'm gonna be like, all right, I have all those routes now. The first thing I would like to do is require express. Okay, here we go. Second thing I would like to do is the router itself. So this is express.router. And then we're gonna say, okay, router.use. And then we're gonna add some stuff here. This part is actually, I wanted to show you this as well, but I think it will be a little bit too much information right now. So here there will be a new part. So I'm gonna add a to-do, add in error and info. This is for later in the course, not for now, because otherwise I think it will be too much information. And I really want to avoid you guys being like, what the hell? So then we say router.use / and then we say require ./home. Okay. Basically, this is the first one we're gonna be using. And then we have more that we can add here, but for now we're gonna say module.exports router. So this is the file you're gonna have. So let's go over this real quick. So basically what we have now is router.use and we have a ./home. This is okay, right? This you guys got this, right? Of course, oh, I'm sorry. Of course, it points to ./home. What does that mean? And I don't want to go too fast, but basically what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to add another file. And this is gonna be home.js. Here we go. And home.js is basically gonna be where we will store all our routes. So I can go to put express here again. So if our express is require express, you can copy it just from this file, from the index file. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to say, I will type my router, express.router. Here we go. And then you can basically move all your things. So basically what we did in this file, you can move right here. So we're gonna copy this and we're gonna move it to the home file. Here we go. And then afterwards we can say, all right, we moved it now. Now we're gonna export it. So module.export. Oh my God. You see how sometimes with my typing, it happens, you know. Okay, so we have what we did now basically is we moved those routes from the routes.js to the home.js router file, right? In our routes. And this is perfect. So this basically means that we have this in order. So let's go quickly through it again. So basically we have an express application here. We require express because we need the router. We say router.use on this path, use this file, this routing file. Then we're gonna export this router. And in this routing file that we made here, we declare our routes that we had before. So that's how we are working right now. To be sure that you understand this, just try to like imagine what you know, how it's organized. So try to really find the structure, maybe write it down. It can help. We also have an API route here, an API part of the routes This we're gonna try to stay away from right now, but I will just quickly show you an example. So let's say we want to expose all the users we will have in our database. We will just add users. This is a users file, and we're gonna say, okay, var express. So the same, you know the drill basically, right? So we add the same information. You can copy paste this as well if you want. I'm just gonna type it real quick so you guys can follow along, easy. And then we can say router.use. We're gonna use the users. Require /users. There we go. And then we say module.exports router. That's it. And then in the users file, we're gonna do similar situation. But what do we know? So we basically do it again. What do we know already by now, right? Express. And then we say var router is express.router and then router.get, and then we say slash. So this is the root that we were gonna get it on. Function recres. We're gonna go here, and then we say rest.json. This is a JSON status code for the users API. So basically we're returning some JSON here. This is very, if you're not familiar with this, when you're making web services, this is very popular, and you're gonna be using this one super a lot, because JSON is basically a way to interchange data between different systems. And it's getting more popular as we get mobile devices and web services that need to serve all this data. Okay, so and then we say router, and now we don't have a crashed file anymore. So basically this means that our application is running again. So do we dare to look? Because I have no idea whether it's gonna work either, but we can try it. So we go to localhost, seems to work. We go to home, seems to work. Great, everything still works. This is amazing. So basically, now that we have this information, how login we still don't have, but this will be for the next video. So now that we have this information, how this is working, what can we conclude, right? So basically the first conclusion we can draw out of this is that organizing your routes in Node.js can be done very efficiently, as you see right here. So we have different folders here. We have routes and web and API. And within this, you can add multiple routes. So we moved our routes from here to here. Within the application, you can declare your folders right here. So .routes/web, and the index will pick up for you. So this index here, and he will show you the slash refers to this one, the slash this refers to this one. So with me, the root just refers to home. You could obviously start writing your routes in here as well. I just prefer to split things up. And then in home, we add our routes that we had before. We do exactly the same for the API. So the slash API, we're gonna require all the routes from API. And then we're gonna say, all right, guys, index here, /users. Here we go. And we didn't do this actually. We can actually go to users now, /API/users. And here we go. We got some JSON string here. Of course, this is not a real JSON string. It's just like a text file which looks a bit like JSON. Later on when we're going through the tutorial, maybe part 9 or something like this, we will be working with JSON to serve information from our blog and post. So let's say, for instance, you wanna make a nice mobile app and you wanna have this blog post information. This is the way we're gonna be doing this with this API. And I will show you authentication. I will show you a little bit of token authentication, but this is for the future. Let's first focus on the front end. So this works right now. Basically the only thing we can still conclude as well is that we have some routes that are not working. So for instance, the about route doesn't work and the login. I would like to still fix the about route just so we did it as well. So let's just add a new route here in our not in our routes. This file can be deleted actually. So this file here, this routes file, can just be deleted. So you just click delete, and it's not gonna, nothing is gonna happen. So don't worry, everything is gonna be fine. Everything still works. It's just to avoid confusion later on that you're adding routes in this file. I would really try to avoid this. And then here we can just add router.get /about, and then we say function rec res. Here we go, and then we just do the same shit, and then we basically add a new view to our website. So in this case, it's a home, and I will still consider this part of the home view. We're not going to add a specific folder for the about, so we can say about.hjs, and then we can say home, and we just copy paste this part, right? So, and then also copy paste the lower part. I'm just gonna do it step by step so you really see how it's structured here. And then what we did here is we just added an h1 element, so I copy it in here too, and I just call it welcome to the about page. Here we go, and then I save again. Basically this will just allow you to keep going, like, you know, to put this route there, and this should be enough. So if we just go to /about now, I just gotta wait a little bit. It could be that I might have forgotten so we added it in the home. Yes, we forgot to render. Very interesting to see, by the way, because as you can see, it continues. So basically it hit the route because I clicked about, but it's just running because there's nothing here. So what I need to do is I just need to say res.render home / and then to check again with you guys about in this case, and then point comma, and then we're there. And that was it. And that's the about page. And we have the about page. So in the next tutorial, we're gonna start adding login and register functionality. We're gonna theme up the about page. You guys might have noticed that this is still Bootstrap 3.3.6. We will change this to a more neat version of Bootstrap 2, so it looks a little bit more, you know, a little bit more nice. But for now, I will just leave it how it is for the guys who build it like this. This is Bootstrap 3.3.6. You can just Google this shit right here. This is the docs you have. It shows you basic templates, shows you examples. Normally you can find some components too and how to form them. I still want to change it because I find like if there's a new version with nicer stuff in it, we're obviously gonna opt for this new version. But for now, I just wanted to show you guys the basics. So what we did today was organize the routing, and we implemented NodeModel. So we put the basis there to start building very nice scalable applications. The next stuff we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to serve static files. For instance, images and stuff for making a nice logo. And we're also gonna be working on logging in, registering, and connecting our application to a database backend. And this will be also very interesting because you will see how you can go start doing this, how we can organize this the best way. Thank you very much for watching. If you have questions, you can also always put them in the comments below. You can find this code on GitHub, on the GitHub repository. And I hope to see you guys in the next part. It's not gonna be the next part within 3 years. I'm really gonna make sure that we make the next part ongoing every time, again and again. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more. I'm gonna be with a lot more videos, a lot more entertainment. Thank you so much, guys. See you later. Bye bye. Have a good coding day. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much.